Memo akwaba bio emfamra Nnawotwi adwumadie so baby a wo de wafidi ato ha wo hwe ye bia no yedase. Well, my guests are ready in our studio. Dr. Rashid Pelpo, the MP for West Central and member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. Doc, I was around for a very long time. Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
What to say?
Oh, yo. Only say Chidi, very amid the pan.
And do the very fair. Obey mix it.
Okay. I'm in English, so that's we bit my translated small.
Okay. English now, yeah, quite a training there.
I'm still learning.
But we train in your bad.
Oh. Say, if I want to speak for long time, wouldn't say and to be correct. You know.
Okay. Do the half hour from me. All right. Thank you so much for coming. From the NPP side, and so no, Mesaka Banasco Ampon answer. Banasco, a member of the NPP's communications team, or a PhD candidate as well, huh?
Oh,
that's saying. That's all your PhD. I was saying, Jimmy. Look, I really did a long time ago. Yes, I will take inspiration from him.
Exactly.
Bibiabako.
When you're Adom Boko, this will be as somewhere. And then my chair and I'm chair dogs. I'm saying, share 2019, I'm in the chair. It's been 4 years in share.
Oh, okay.
And the Sashu Yaso, and he share. And Michiano. Na in Chagana for you now. Na Endomas, especially for Asumdria woman. No Ghana de baku ye unique. Sempo yenti and was the same crana. Ye massa or do the love, the unity, the togetherness, no. Ye whenever a binding together until they be an ewasumdria. And that is paramount. On mine the Kenyina a mena me ba me say, mina me say, mina me ko say. If we don't have peace, the nation cannot develop. Yes. And we will not have anywhere called Ghana to live. Yes. Today look at what is happening in Sudan. Look at the state of this organization ECOSO said the amount for bread will be Tennessee and Juma Papa B and they were very refugee. We don't want that in Ghana. And I think that by and large, both NDC and MPP, we should praise ourselves. At the end of the day, then we come back to the table with Jojo. Baby, I was say a fa Kasano Kokwa Bisoni fa where we need to punch hard, we punch. But at the end of the day, we retreat and come together and say, hey, we are one Ghanaians. There is nothing better than a beautiful, peaceful Ghana. Driving all the way from Kukrubiti up to this point. Nobody stopped me and attempted to beat me or do anything unnecessarily. See, my brother coming from all the way wherever he came from. What about some dream? Only be any asem. Ube chrewadrin, callers befre, ebibe hitu, ebibe kama. If we are still one Ghana, and that we must praise ourselves for it and appeal to the political parties. Especially as we go into a heated parliamentary and presidential elections, 2024. We're looking forward that indeed the MPP will break the 8. He knows it. He will attest to it and support us to break it. So we continue with the good works, though some hitches here and there. Let us together, let the Ghanaian populace have confidence in us that we'll do the elections devoid of any form of issues that can cause anarchy or whatsoever. And I'm happy that I'm a Ghanaian because of the peace we enjoy. It's very, very good, and let's maintain it. Yeah.
Maybe I need to contribute to that.
Okay.
Say, I agree with him. We need to fight hard to make sure we maintain the peace. And but the burden lies more on the people holding power, holding the arms, the police, the soldiers, and all that. That they should be responsible in holding them, and not cause any chaos by misusing the arms at their disposal. If they all stick to our democracy and we all stick to it, then there will be peace. This idea of breaking the aid, which is making them desperate and wanting to take power by all means, can cause a problem. Let's hope that they play by the game. If anybody wins, let him win. But not the kind of thing that happened in Tachiman and Zabzu, where they try to take results and change them, and that can create a problem. Let's not create a problem. Okay. Let's move on. We all need peace. Like he's saying, I agree with him. Traveling all the way from here, nobody's stopping you, nobody's hurting you. It's good for Ghana.
our beautiful country.
Yes, we love Ghana.
We love Ghana too much.
Yes.
Anyway, Doc, me no be shase. Obey your broken tree now, mama. Added to.
Oh, but okay cheaper.
Oh,
I remember in 2010 we had our congress in this constituency. 2010 Nooks Congress.
Okay.
Yes, was then was central.
Yes.
I think in 2012 he was to contest with Bernard Mona.
Yes.
And easy. Oh, easy. That was the first time I'm really shy actually.
Okay.
Nooks Congress. It wasn't easy.
Okay.
They were pushing an agenda, and I was stopping the agenda.
He knows a lot.
Doc, being a member of the Mines and Energy Committee, you have oversight over the Ministry of Energy.
Yes.
Petrosa, I mean the GNPC and Adako, so deep water tunnel Cape 3 point and then you name found.
When we say Petro, what do you call it? GNPC bought the
field.
The field, yeah. Jubilee Oil Holdings Limited. They bought it.
Yeah.
When Anadako was running up his business in Ghana, sold it to GNPC, and it's yielding fruits. It's a company that is well purchased.
Okay.
It's, this there and is bringing in a lot of support to uplift GNPC.
Okay.
So we think that it is a good step. It was a good step that in 2021 we bought it.
We bought it at $164.8 million.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you imagine? And it is reaping in about over $200 million in a year through profits.
Wow.
So it was a good purchase. And so we hope that we can harness it and grow our shares in it. It's just 7% shares is good.
And 7% is over 200 million in profit. No?
Yes.
Just 7%.
7% shares.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's good. And if that happens, we hope that GNPC will see it as a baby, hold it strongly. But only for us to hear that GNPC leadership is selling the company to a subsidiary, a South African company, Petrosa. And it's causing a lot of concern. And we in the minority think that the process is not being done properly. The sale is not compelling. There's a reason why government, through the GNPC, bought that 7% shares. And so it's important that we realize that by expectation. And for them to sell it with a due process, it is a policy issue. To purchase an offshore company is a policy decision. To sell it must also be a policy decision. But GNPC, which is carrying out policy, is not a policy maker. They are driving policy. To take a decision on their own, to sell it, is something that we are concerned about.
Yes,
Yes. There must be some processes. It's an international transaction, so you don't do an international transaction at your corner. GNPC leadership alone sit down, decide that they'll sell it, have a negotiation with them, and then sell it. And that's why we agree with the minister when he wrote a letter to say that no, we can't accept that. Yeah.
Interesting. But Ebanse Bedruha, then GNPC your margin say, even though like you're saying, a company might $200 million, no, you say a ton shares ni be the more before.
I think it's because of the push by Petrosa. Petrosa is a shareholder in the Jubilee Holdings Limited.
Okay.
And for every transaction, commercial transaction, the shareholders of the company, if anybody wants to share shares, will have to be considered first.
Okay.
The shareholders will have to be considered first.
so obetumi atode a na what ama no.
Yeah.
So on to me then no wash outside.
Good. It's like the special right of refusal of that purchase.
First offer.
The right of refusal means that we won't buy.
Okay.
And then you can sell it. Looks like that process didn't go through that way, and GNPC bought it. So they are raising that issue and say, look, we also were showing interest in buying it. We are showing interest in buying it. Why do you sell it to GNPC? So we want to be part of it. If we don't, then we have to go for arbitration. And then GNPC then thought that, look, then let's agree and sell it. But upon what conditions are they agreeing? Where did they go and agree that they should sell it? And like I said, it's a big policy decision.
Okay.
Why will they decide this on their own to do what they are doing? But again, can we not say that there is a lapse for all the years that we have bought it? If they didn't raise an issue and decide to raise an issue now, wouldn't it have been? Wouldn't their right been lapsed? Truncated because of the long stay, in not purchasing it or in not raising the issue. There would have been indolence in that respect, and in that respect too, they would have lost the right to come back to say they buy it. How would we know that? Is it because we have made good profits? That's why you are coming back from behind. So all these things need to be discussed. And we in the minority and in the committee itself haven't got enough grasp of what is happening. And that's why it's important for us to go into it, to understand what is happening, and essentially to give our own advice and guidance.
Okay.
But I am surprised, the chairman is a long-term practicing lawyer.
Yeah.
He should have known the process by which such a high-level international transaction is conducted. You can't sit with the chief executive alone and decide that you would purchase it, and warranted the minister from writing, a letter before such a deal. He now comes out to say that, well, we have moved out of it. It should have been a process. They should have discussed with the minister. It should have been an agreement from the top, from the presidency, right down to the point when that decision is taken. So when we want to talk, we will be saying that it's the president, or it is the minister, or it is somebody associated with them.
Interesting. But senior mo ye modwuma no.
Yeah.
Bibisa na o say mo committee no aware. And I said,
yeah, aware at all.
No, but per practice, I was saying we are aware.
Yes. Yeah, compulsory say you be aware. Say omo fa ade no aka, discuss with us. Na ye nyina get to understand, and then we can. It's not compulsory, but it's necessary for us to know, so that because it's an international transaction, Parliament needs to know which is a legal issue, which is a necessity, So the committee would definitely have to get involved in it
because of the international
nature of it.
Anyway, Mamimfa Banasco. So, near Koshi, so Utia, I mean, idea about 200 million annually there. That's a good venture. The internet we want to relinquish it at this point.
That's it. You did say, many opinion, Doc Rashid Purple, on the Ote committee in the select committee on mines and energy, and SMBC no Mudinwa Bobono, or Wakwenya or Tiso, and T. Moon Sem Debi or what said you okay. Dear Omunina, Adom. Na no crowman say Eddie Kaino. Anadako. Ejumakua almost war chefa. Jubilee and 10 oil fields no na obia so no uni obi bia adwuma na wo hwe se opese empo wo chefa we adwuma ni mu no otonwa anaasɛ ujemu enam bibi ntia bia yɛmfa ne sɛ de tiefo beti ase multimedia wahai obi na Adom FM yɛ ne dia meka ne saa keke menim sɛ ne nyina bɛyɛ kwesi twum dia nanso meka ne saa keke sɛ de bɛyɛ amanfo beti ase Adom FM ɛyɛ Banasco dia Asempa FM ɛyɛ Dr. Rashid Pepo dia ɛna Adom TV ɛne other TV stations ne nyina no ɛyɛ odia but ni nyina na yɛ kabom ɛna yɛ frɛ no ɛyɛ multimedia nti sɛ ebre bi so na me feel sɛ ɛyɛ Adom FM de me mpɛsɛ mɛyɛ adwuma ni biem nanso ɛda so hyɛ multimedia mu na me pɛsɛ me ton a me wɔ ho kwan sɛ me ton ɛno ne yɛ me right sɛ me pɛsɛ me ton nti anadako a ne tumi ana ne chefa a ɔwɔ Jubilee Field ne mu no na ɔpɛsɛ ugye mu anaasɛ ɔton nti ɔton a embra ɛkyerɛ sɛ anaasɛ nka ntiasie mu no me a me ne wo yɛ adwuma no ɔton de a me wɔ ho kwan kane sɛ mɛtɔ business term no yɛ frɛ no first offer sɛ wo de bɛma me na me mato sɛ me kɛsɛ me mpɛde a ɛna wobɛtumi afiri obi foforo fi abɔnten ma na bɛtɔ because adwuma na yɛyɛ no still no ɛyɛ multimedia adwuma no na yɛyɛ nti obi wɔ multimedia mu a obetumi asan ato ɛyɛ Adom FM no na mfa ne sɛ doc ɛbɛto Adom FM afiri me wɔde aka na Asempa FM ho a he has that first offer to buy it. Okay. So in that case when Anadako has expressed interest say omo pese omo shares na ɛwɔ ɛyɛ Jubilee Fields ne mo no omo ton obi a obedi kan sɛ ne shares so ejapade na ɛwɔ obi man so nti saa man no ɔwɔ bibi a ɛfrɛ no reservative rights so ɔbɛkɛ sɛ saa no me na meyɛ ɔman no nti me medi kan ato nti ɛno no na ɔman Ghana a ya nam sini ɛbɛyɛ Minister of Energy expressing interest sɛ ɔbɛden ɔbɛtɔ na no kwesɛm ne sɛ ɔman no kɛsɛ first offer no ɔbɛtɔ a emra da ho a emra no kyerɛ sɛ wobɛtumi agye atom sɛ wode bɛma me anaasɛ womfa ma me ɛno no emra no ɔmatintim ma ne da ho a emra hye bedwafo I think say Act 997 we refi kakra but I think so the mines the energy or petroleum revenue act something where emra nti aban no ekyere se me pese ampa meje na mefa eka me medie na me wono nti ahyese no na ye 5.4% of the field no mo pese mo ton no na aban no to but aban ni negotiate more eka se da bi nka minya 7 na meje ena ote ase se wode be ma no ono na da ko no otumi so be kesa me fa ma
initially krana nka more de Cosmos
de Cosmos
and government ka so okay meje atum so be ton mako only if minya 7% na
exactly exactly wo dia wo nyina sa wo de mana maybe 7% ne de meje but ebre still say this kabi etua ni nyina ma no sa bre na mse se kan nyina ntumi ankɔte se de se di sa de ayembie eye vehicle and as offshore account bia eno no ewo musa de ne ye wo de but me na me to wo so to media na nso ntumi nkomu nkoyiyi ska bia keke because me ne wo akwapam and there is that memorandum of understanding na companies too no aban na edimu tintima no aye ti omoye sa omoye bibia no kure se de okan aban no hwe se ampa de ebani but enam sa no mo ametu ne commitment amaye nti this amount and as this percentage no eba me nan so nti eye me de so say Ira Rashid Pepo, I know him. He's somebody I look from afar. I have known him from some time now, but he doesn't know me so much. But I follow him a lot. He said it plainly that the minister has expressed shock at that letter, indicating that it's been sold, or GNPC expresses the interest to sell it off. And rightly so. Minister no Ojinabanem. Yes, GNPC board chairman any management and so no abana msifo a omohwe sa adwumadi ye Ghana dia so nti dia metumi aka prempren ni se afiansa asem na beto ho minister de na no yi a kire se aban ne bonjo so se sa ye chefa ewu mu no ye beton e de ama ye adwumaku ye Petrosa se omonjinka omode ho the government is not in agreement to that regard. And as to why the board chair and the management of GNPC expressed that also needs to be established. But as we speak, Minimse Parliament omo yo made ombetumi atonsa afre GNPC. So you find out at the committee level why that decision was taken. And maybe the minister can also give explanation as to why the decision was taken, maybe without his consent. And no betumi ama ya discuss asem ni because sisi the young one say GNPC board chair any GNPC management say ye chefe woman no ye jemu ama Petrosa. Eye aban a minister no eda na no e wo saa eye ministry no of energy no so say there be saa kwan ya mo fa so ne de nka ye gintum nti wo se nka mo fa kwan ABC di so eye last week na abeto ho me gidi saa fiansa obi a kire na adwen a ye beto tototo na ma nka me de mesre said the worker no I'm very happy about the approach he has used that the government has indeed expressed its dissatisfaction with the transaction that is going on or has gone on or would be going on. And indeed, the minister has also come out boldly to say that no, he just had an interim. So between the minister, between the board chair, from the coming weeks and unraveling events, we'll get to know what necessarily necessitated that action. And then we can constructively make arguments out of it. But for now, I'd say a little, yeah, expressing interest, yeah, cotton. And minister so through a bank so say there be any sense
but then tina as an organization I would name like Doc is saying sika efi a venture moba 200 million is no small money. Now so me share the name and what decide say me ton sa shares manako. I mean what really preempt that? Sincerely,
anything I make say he being on the committee maybe they provide the accounts and meet them into unim certain amounts. Be minim so much about this particular amount has come, blah blah blah, and that stuff. But what I know is that yes, it fixes in some amount of money, be it the 200 million or more or less. But the point is that that decision that ye tono, ebi owa only 200 million, but commitment say be a common so no, you and I may not have the preview of information on it. And the media can say. Approach away you so know. I said I like it because government, who is the custodian or the supreme person who should take decisions at the end of the day, I express and say there be way there. Many one can say into one to me any okay. So now there should be more explanation, and I was saying that Parliament, as they normally do, would call whichever agency. If it is through the minister, they will call the people to come and explain why. Adian can necessarily emaye sikase. But let us not forget say Ghana Branca was say sika was tuama eye anadako. Nanka yetumi gino kra. As to say you
no, that was done. As for that, there's no issue about it. You sue the Ghana Revenue Authority for Sikabi. I think the company should have paid to us to do the negotiation, and it ended at 164.8 million. That was done. Concluded. Exactly. As for that, there's no issue about it.
Exactly.
That's why Anadako, in partnership with GNPC, set up that new vehicle. The new vehicle. Because we have Exploco.
Yes.
Exploco is the exploration company arm of GNPC.
Exactly.
And that time, a lot of people were saying that, okay, once we have Exploco, why not allow Exploco to then go into that negotiation? GNPC4, I think they explained, say, because of the international nature, there had to be a special vehicle. That's why Joe when we acquired the shares, I remember there was a directive says that we should transfer the shares into Exploco once the acquisition had been completed. I hope that was what happened. So it means that as for the issue about transaction, it was completed. Now we want to then transfer 50% of your shares in that which is a special purpose vehicle that transaction to the Petrosa. That's what is generating all of this issue.
And exactly.
But the vehicle amount, that amount, and again, the minister is explaining, say, that decision does not lie with the chairman.
Exactly.
It lies with the government, and because it's of its international nature, it has to come back to Parliament.
Exactly.
And like Honorable asked, Mr. Freddie Blay, a reputable lawyer. Why so when he knew what the laws governing such transactions really are. But Yenkoti calls the civil society organizations a year calling for the sack of the chairman, citing these reasons.
Yeah, but quickly, on this score. My point and my joy is that the government has been very transparent and very blunt on the issue.
Okay.
It has not attempted to in any way curtail any information that should come to the public for a discussion and an understanding of the circumstances that is occurring. Inti eno no yebetumi hu say aban no aye krado say anamo a watu no yes we menipa me na medi wasi ho wona nka wo hwe so ama me nanso watu anamo bi a ene me entomasum a me fa ne say eni se sa kwan ne yefa so nti mama amanfo enya nkyeremu mawie no nso no me gidi say embrahye bedwafo ewo tumi ewo Ghana ha say ombetumi afa embra ya hyehya to wo no so beto nsa frɛ obi e wo sɛ obabe yi ano wo asembe ho senti ase ne nya adwuma na me gidi say minister no so ebeka sɛ me tenase a me ntu anamo nti I think that the discourse and how it is going and how people are making suggestions clearly shows that we are all interested in what happens in the end.
Okay.
Because we need that form of revenue that is chunked in from the special people.
Honorable
Fachemi. I say we reame. Nti nia ye kan say ye nyina no ye need ye chire na aban no so a chire say ampa owo opepa say ade bia koso na senkan ni say saa kwan no so na efa obema nchiremu aba nti emrahye bedwafo menim say ade ye aban ni hyehyɛ ye bia efasikasem ho eye dwadie ho eye bibia ochena say eka bi koba ye de otam ananse judgment eye ka ye beka no judgment debt bi beba beto aban ne so no I was saying ye nyamrahye bedwafo ma omudi hu abobo te say de na okay. But the ochene chese omukura omunim ne ekosi nti minister MP board chairman a former MP he knows the parliamentary proceedings and how things of this nature should be done. The president is a learned, smart, very intelligent lawyer who knows that if these things go arbitrarily there can be sanctions nti yehwe na ka se de me kan ye no ye bema ye nya abotre na afiansa beto we ya nchiremu free minister wa bai ye benya nchiremu so efiri eye board chairman ne GNPC wo so beba say ntin ye tu sa na moy na sempo ebi okrase makana me we ya na nka otwa kwa ekira fine
okay
eye suggestion so na abeto was me ye boabo say ye ton I don't think the sale has been outrightly done.
Okay.
Nti ye be twena nka ye twumenya sa kwanya no ye nda nchechiremu ni ye na afi ye ba ye hu say utu sa na moy wanka nchiremu ni we anyese na we can then package the issues and discuss it well.
Okay, but he shouldn't just pretend, I mean, appear to just take government away as if government, this is something different from government and all that. That's why we want to go more into it.
Exactly.
The possibility is that some government functionaries are pushing it, minus the minister.
Okay.
And the minister is standing up to his duty.
I say, the minister,
we don't know whether how they are able to do this without the finance minister.
Okay.
We don't know how we could do it without some members of the presidency. So the high possibility is that government is involved in an informal manner. And then we've gotten to a point when they can't go anymore because the opposition and views from the CSOs and the general public. So don't take government away completely. And it's also because of the kind of government we are running that you can have confidence of a chairman and a chief executive decide to sell a government property on their own. If you have a government that is straight in doing the right, people will not do what they are doing now. So government cannot completely be absolved from the happiness now.
Interesting. Okay. Yesaka Duncan Amwa, Executive Secretary for a Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Ghana. Mzama, good morning. What's it then?
Could you patch me why now? I know you me for baby duties.
Well, me now can be once I say we want to be fathers, a do baby on Betty as a young Kodana, among for some baby.
And now, baby, this one I is the interview, no baby. My
Anyway, yeah, that's a cross in that time and all the challenges. What Jatum's on the Lakasa. The Petro SA GNPC in San Semno. ahemfa pa na yegyina sisi
Brace. Megidi say ade mekaye no say yewo enwom bi boma ora opu Matthew Opoku Benza. Matthew
Opoku Prempe.
Opoku Prempe, yes. Magina ye. Obebisa on say ade na beka oman a yes here revenue to want to just go on a selling or a negotiation bank just whatever interest that accrue to future generations no na whatever interest ana sika anka etirima benya no yabone donko miende na omo mbejo omo share ni omo enyi omo share obi akọ ne baby. I think that the right thing is what the minister did, telling them that it is not in the national interest that we will engage in such things, especially when we were not long ago thinking of saying a GNPC a way to become an operator, obviously only some of the oil fields completely without any foreign participation. One would wonder what would motivate GNPC to embark on this sort of negotiation or a petrol. But people will have their interest at any transaction table. So whatever happens there, no. Megidi said the minister's position, like the civil society platform front, no, had indicated, is what Ghanaians should be happy for. At least a senior member of the same government, disagrees with Empenyumfuo Miyunumi and some boardroom, normal committee, GNPC, to such a future long-term thing, cost PD interest at the Petrosa. So, Brace, I think that the tall and short of all of this is that the minister has stood firm and he has been a Ghanaian to safeguard the hydrocarbons and whatever revenues that they accrue to Ghana.
From senior Nnawotwi Kono, do we take his transaction you completed that and now it's telling them say if you come on board we'll accept to sell 50% of our shares to you?
So what kind of minister letter clearly no, there can't be any further negotiation, any further discussion, any further consideration. In his words, it is not in the interest of Ghana for them to proceed. And again, GNPC so moto cannot act without the minister's concurrence or approval. So it is not likely that we will come back to that deal or that prospect or that possibility altogether. It is likely that that Petrosa thing might not resurrect because the minister substantive is clearly not up for it. The minister not to honor say, let's explore ways of getting this thing done there. And the Nanka CS to see the near or not on the site. But we the situation now, sector in national, it is not in the interest of the country. And I think that Ora credibly, the GNPC board clearly will do themselves a lot of good to discontinue whatever negotiations, discussions whatsoever, or money petrol has been paying for habit because it will not see the light of day. According to what the minister's response looks like.
Okay. But I'm sure, sir, Bibi now say a trigger Bibi. Yenim a car GNPC board need to even consider, say, with such a vehicle a bro sikasano. Yenye ya dream say, ye pesi ye 50% of it. Yenim Bibi sa.
Kojo. Sometimes you can only impute motive. You can only sit and say, possible that we now we way. Freddie Blay has granted a couple of interviews. The thinking would have been possibly.
Unfortunately. But yeah, line I BB Basa, but you better try na to me raising the back. But once we are speaking to him and yene or no or belong to the civil society organizations here in common. Yenko tie in semport the two Nnawotwi emu no more air president say omode nkabeya chairman Freddie Blay and the CEO of GNPC omo munsifom.
These CSOs have asked for my head or for my resignation. It's a pressure. Everybody is calling me here and there. What have you done? Is it true that you have surreptitiously, as the word is, or scandalously decided to take GNPC shares and sell it to a foreign company, depriving this country of? I believe these are all allegations that I find them unfortunate. It's not the case. CG oil industry is very sensitive. And it's not my activity as an individual. It's not my conduct as an individual that will determine what is happening. I am complimented by, indeed, it's a chain of command. The presidency, the ministry, the Ministry of Finance, our board of directors, there's an executive committee of GNPC, and the CEO is in charge of all this. Before we take any decision, we go through meetings. Now, I can't on my own go and sell GNPC assets. As I said, it's a bit complicated. Now, I will have left, immediately you write such a thing about it, that people sense, even you in the media, you sense that there's a problem there. Somehow, how can a GNPC chairman go and sell shares of the company to a foreign, deprive this country? Maybe he's doing so that he will be benefit from it. We'll have some, they'll pay him on the side. It's scandalous. Is that not?
Was there any intention to sell?
Please, there's no intention to do so. There was no block that you are selling or deciding to sell.
We demand the immediate removal of GNPC CEO Opoku Ahweneye Dankwa and the board chairman Freddie W. Blay from their respective positions, as they have become a threat to Ghana's interest in the petroleum sector. 6. Additionally, we demand the immediate transfer of JOHL and all its assets from Cayman Island and other jurisdictions to GNPC. 7. We demand immediate disclosure of the Ake plan of development from the Petroleum Commission and the government. To conclude, we firmly believe that a country micromanaged by the IMF cannot be seen to engage in fiscal recklessness that undermines its recovery. In these difficult times, the nation needs prudent management of its resources to derive the fullest benefits and bring relief to the suffering masses. Furthermore, we encourage citizens to demand accountability on the petroleum sector to ensure that our natural resources benefit all citizens of the nation.
Well, NT OTA, the chairman of GNPC, Freddie Wasimewu Blay, NIS so they are at twice or Dankanamo is back with us on the line. Mr. Danka Majo.
Kojo mewaha.
Na mi bisa se woda foto mu na hwe nkan wa ebe din se beka se me pese me koton 50% of ade na ebre me foto no enti efi se yate bibi se bia bibi na asi o bibi na aka credit a ama GNPC for ISO ene sa de ebe ton 50%.
Kojo the nipa the habit of yenton, you would clearly have a reason for and yet far-fetched Okaya, an asset that GNPC was supposed to use for the other kind of exploration, a drill ship. Obviously, into the water basin, into the tunnel basin to do exploration. No? We decided at some point, say, Petrosa, they would express an interest because so analysis, flow analysis, he might end up recouping 100 times or 50 times the car
MPS.
Now, how does the country all the time, economically, here bailout here and there. Anytime our resources ever accrue, no, now pep BB, when you follow pep BB and money the resource no accrue. Whatever benefit that would accrue to them, no, you would never know. They will tell you so or minor cotton is safe. Yes, only they will be interested or money. They wouldn't need any interest. Take it slowly. A resource just about 10, 20 years ago, Ghana was not dependent on petroleum revenue at all. And we were able to manage the economy one way or the other. Without it, a lot of countries are surviving. Now, the other thing, Emma, a year na kakra, and it's petroleum revenue. It is not for a Nemqua use. The Obaka, what they are called annual budgetary fund amount. We send the money to set the budget. Now, the Akane, the infrastructure, the law, Petroleum Fund Management Act, that's how you should also invest some of these monies to ensure that the future generations now almost crying they are able to get something in 10, 20, 30 years out. Almost me the other kind of development and now and then almost we'll be able to leave them something so that almost me at the
anyway. Okay, so they attended to Kofi home. Now, we'll still come back to you. Why? Anyway, attend Kofi Besaba on Champions. Duncan the executive secretary for the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Ghana. But so, Doc, like you were saying, we heard from the chairman there saying that, well, there's a chain of command. So he could not have done it on his own.
It's very contradictory to everything he said earlier.
Okay.
Remember when he was interviewed, I still have the record here. He said, as board chairman, I thought it was rather best to meet them and decide on something. We had a couple of meetings, and I proposed to them that it need be the 7% that they are talking about. Instead of them taking it all, we taking it, let's split it. I'm sure what he's saying is that he suggested to them that, look, he's a board chairman, based on that, instead of you taking everything
from us,
let's split it so that you take half and we take half.
Okay.
That's his suggestion. And he went ahead to work on that. And it got to a point that the minister said, look, you are going too far.
Yeah.
Stop there. And so there had been an agreement by himself based on the fact that he's board chairman. Remember that the two directors of the Jubilee Park, the Jubilee Oil Holding Limited, are him and then the chief executive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so the new vehicle I'm creating, the Jubilee Oil Holdings Limited.
Yes.
Johel na.
Yes.
The toss
Yeah.
fee and the dakohono. Two directors on no and the CEO.
Yes.
So they can take decisions on behalf of Johel.
Yes.
Without even the government. Because
Yes.
that's a separate.
Unless they have changed it. They are the two directors.
Okay.
So they took the decision. And, we are holding them to it. So to run away from it to say that, there's a chain of command. And thankfully, he now has said that there's a chain of command, meaning government cannot absolve itself, cannot run away from it.
Okay.
He said that he didn't take the decision alone. There's a presidency, there's this, up to himself. Meaning they have decided to sell this property owned by GNPC, bought by GNPC on behalf of government, a lucrative enterprise, which they now decide to throw away, without due process. And we think that is unacceptable. Yeah.
Well, but like you're saying, Obo minister Nadine, but the same minister, and about Abeka say, well, you don't have the right. So can we really say the structure is?
But now it tells us that the minister was not properly consulted.
Okay.
And it tells us that he might not be telling the truth if he said that.
Why not, might not be telling the truth?
The chairman may not be telling the truth if the minister could come out boldly to say, look, stop this action. We are not for it, and it is wrong, And it shows that there is some element of, some amount of wrong direction in the whole enterprise of the sale of the Jubilee Oil Holding Limited, So I think that we need to go more into it. And I'm happy, now he's even defeating what we are saying. The government is not aware, minister has come out to say this, and it is them who are doing it. Now it is shown that he is now saying that everybody is aware, and that he's doing it because they are aware of it. But I think that it is because also the due process has been truncated. The two of you cannot sit down and sell a company like that without passing through laid down processes which can be shown by documentation.
Okay.
You can't just say, I've phoned them, they have agreed. I've called somebody in the presidency, he has agreed. I'm not saying that's what he did. But if he has done that without any proper documentation to prove that it is government business to do what they are doing, then it means it never happened.
Jubilee Oil Holdings Limited.
Yes.
And why there?
It's for GNPC, it's for government.
Directors are also near Nkofomi,
Yes.
Only two pair. Only two directors.
Yes.
It is a more engaging in transaction. I'm sure being a member of the Mines and Energy Committee, you know the structure.
Yes.
If Johel engaging in a transaction, why more and will say
initial say will come from GNPC because they advise policymakers. And when policy is taken, then they drive it. So if they see the need, they have to consult the minister. And the minister, if it is going to work, then the minister will pass it on. They can't come to parliament. GNPC by themselves cannot write to parliament.
Okay.
They have to go through the minister. Minister will now come to us and say, look, this is what is happening. Then parliament will work on it. And the process will formally continue. Okay. So if it is not done in that manner, and they assume sovereign rights over GNPC and did what they did, and the people of Ghana feel that they have been underrated, undermined, they have to take responsibility. And let me say thank you and salute the CEOs, CSOs for coming out strongly to say what they are to do what they have done, because we can only feel the essence of our democracy if there's an alert citizen. The citizens are not spectators, like the president said. He stole from George Bush. But are actors, people who want to act and say that, look, this is wrong. And then people crowd around it and get it done properly. So the CSOs have done well, and we are with them in this whole thing. And we think that the proper thing has to be done. Government cannot pretend that they are not aware. The chairman now says that they are aware of it. and they should stop it if the proper thing is not done.
Okay, interesting. All right then. So, in all of this,
Yes.
why NAA wrong? Why NAA right?
We don't know the extent to which they have gone with the negotiation and then with the sale. If we get to know that they have gone deeper than is expected, the GNPC leadership is wrong. Because you have to go through process. If they underrate the process or they undermine the process, they are wrong. So they are likely to be seen to be wrong. But I hope that we can establish it and get somebody who is wrong.
Now, if you listen to Petrosa for a letter now, on 7th May this year,
Yes.
I'll say we send our very warm greetings to you and your team, Yachiamo. We write in response to your letter dated 23rd April 2023 and entitled RE, Preemption of Johel Acquisition of Anadako Interest. Petro SA is ecstatic that both parties have been able to come to an equitable and cordial remedy to the matter of Johel's acquisition of DWT, as Deepwater Tunnel interest, arising as consequence of Anadako's disposal of their interest in Ghana through a 50-50 split of DWT interest held by Johel. Petro SA, by extension, so they are happy that we find a solution by a split of 50-50 split of Johel.
When was that letter written?
This is 7th May,
Okay.
2023.
Okay.
So it says Petro SA is ecstatic, so Omoniaji, right?
Yeah.
That both parties have been able to come to an equitable and cordial remedy to the matter of Johel's acquisition of DWT interest arising as consequence of Anadako's disposal of their interest in Ghana through a 50-50 split of that interest.
So it's very clear that GNPC is wrong.
So
you can't go negotiate and come to an agreement on a matter that doesn't end with your own negotiation and agreement. You know, it's an international transaction.
So does it
you
come
hold
to you
a
that
company on behalf of governments and the people of Ghana. You can't decide that you alone can go and sit down, agree on such a transaction, and then, you know, carry it out.
But the letter again says that Petro SA, by extension, Petro SA Ghana Limited, acknowledges and agrees that as part of the completion of this transaction, it will issue GNPC with a formal notice of relinquishment of its right to the remaining DWT interest held by Johel. So does it look like this is like a foregone?
It's like they have finished the transaction, you know, because GNPC represents the government in all this. So it's a legal representation of government in the negotiation. You can't come out and say that, look, GNPC is not government and what they are saying is not us. After we know the position of GNPC in the transaction of oil and gas in Ghana, the position of it, the legal position of GNPC, they take it to go and do this negotiation and they come to this conclusion. You can no longer go back and say, look, they are not ours. We are not the ones talking. But thankfully, we have legal processes that amount to conclusive negotiation. If GNPC doesn't go through it or hasn't gone through it and the minister has intervened, that loophole is what we are going to exploit. Other than that, it's sad and it is tragic for the chairman to come saying all these things and pretending he's not aware of it and even threatening to say he will take CSOs to court. Absurd. What court? After you have gone to this level, without the minister's involvement and endorsement, without a policy agreement as to whether we are selling it or not, you now are pretending that you didn't do anything. You have done a lot, or else they wouldn't have written such a letter.
Doc, Mumayanshe sentence way.
Yes.
To see that, or say by extension, Petro SA Ghana Limited acknowledges and agrees that as part of the completion of this transaction, it will issue GNPC with a formal notice of relinquishment of its right to the remaining DWT interest held by Johel. doesn't it seem say even the other 50 no they are trying to say say we'll let you relinquish that one too, and I mean
it's like he rightly said, it's a 50-50.
Yes, I understand. That's
not the remaining.
No, that's part of it. That's the first part. I'll say, and Adako's disposal of the interest in Ghana through a 50-50 this. Exactly. That's what they're saying. They're happy about this arrangement. Then the next paragraph it says, Petrosa, by extension Petrosa Ghana Limited, acknowledges and agrees that as part of the completion of this whole transaction, it will issue GNPC with a formal notice of relinquishment of its right to the remaining DWT interest held by Joey. What is the remaining one? Mokano has
No.
If we had, say, 7%, which is 100.
Yes.
And by the first statement,
50-50.
50-50. Yes. We all on the same level. In it, as I say, almost the 50% to their call. Then the same statement follows in the next sentence and says that we'll issue with formal notice of relinquishment of the remaining interest in DWT held by Johe. What is the remaining interest? It's not the other 50.
Yeah.
And is that not the notice? Okay, the other 50% is Babaji. And I
think the CSOs have done well for coming in and for asking the chairman to relinquish his position. If this is what the case is, we are 100%. Well, we will go into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
yes, you see, in matters of comprehension, the understanding of a statement can be taken from different perspectives. Okay. And that is very important to establish.
I say, Nnawotwi no to me can.
Okay. Inti the American say, so there assembly abeto no, but edi kan no, mami starting fair point na me we on this score. Say na doke ka say there na me chiremu no. Me were for the blade, or I cannot say the American or Ukrainian no. But the two of us were speaking the same language, but maybe I'm the Nnawotwi and the Nnawotwi. And now maybe understand the number. But the mission say, as some are better, Sisiana and Chechemu P. Eba.
I think you were talking about you.
Yeah.
No, or talking about chairman.
Or say, and one of them
about kind, or say chairman.
And one make us say, oh, say chairman no aka na emzo initially kra no ka bibi say ebeye se bia na ensabi wom chen se chairman nko abenya sa akukudro ni tumi no akofa anase etu sa na mo no eno na me nyina ebeka se eniti se minister na sa adwumakuo no hye na se aba se de bi kwan wafa so de wamfa ne yi ntinkeni se sa na wo ye no, but there is the need for us to follow the certain system or a certain procedure. What beauty procedure na there be any sa enye. Enti na meka na say minister no abden chiremu aba. Ye bra Fred Blay so abechiremu. Parliament wutumi say omo beto nsa say ye penchiremu emudo. Ehwo no na be me ye nyina ye hu say o wasem no sa ampa osimesi obentin amma sa tumi no say GNPC munkotu sa na moiman e na afi o twe no. Then we'll get the clear picture of it. What you say? Because their committee is bipartisan. Ntenye nipa ba ko pe na be kwakotena wa obege se wo cheche musi ya eno no kwa na yebefa. Saa so na ebema entiase ni abayie na yemu se ebia yetu na mutuo bi, because from the statement it clearly indicates that there has been several discussions with GNPC, which is the one holding forth for our oil issues. What you say? Offshore exploration at the omoshe. In the Sankita Udie no, a woman say minister wo, a woman say ministry, a woman say aban wo. And so GNPC na enke ya money to me so obetumi ahwe tutu sana mo no. Enti me media na American say enke ye betwa ne aginkyiremu ni yi. Ye bra Fred Blay asem wo kan say ampa ye tu anamon bi 1 2 3 nipa bi eka ho. Te say de na ye bra doc so e kire no. Enya ade a ono no betumi etu anamon a. It's about revenue. So the Ministry of Finance has an interest. It's about oil. It's about production of petroleum. So the Ministry of Energy has to be represented. And again, the government is represented by the original Mumana, which is GNPC. And in this regard, the board chairman and management. Inti media ne say, asemna beto wona ye cheche muno. Entiase pi beba because he was no ebi omomo who picture bi a mene woni doc nyina kra na bia yehu because you see it's their game and so they play into it more than we do. So maybe they have some form of information that maybe because of its nature krana emba abonten but obetumi aka preempt say nti ye ka say because of the omo
ebia ma menka we nto aso na yenhwe say ebia na enu nti na CSO so no omoyem hyehye omo ti letter no say at the end though we request that we are provided access to the data room or with true certified copies of one SPA under which the DWT interests were acquired by Joe Hill.
SPA, that's special purpose agreement.
Exactly. 2, a status of the joint account.
Okay.
3, all cash calls issued to Joe Hill in respect of DWT interest and status of payment of those cash calls.
Okay.
4, crude oil lifting allocations since the acquisition and sales receipts. And then 5, other payments charged to Joe Hill DWT interest. So, any conclusive agreement,
very well.
How can Petrosa a demand for these ones?
For these ones, yes. And I think that there is more to it than the superficial we have seen at the moment. And as time goes on, and then Parliament, which has the mandatory power to call and seek for further clarification of all issues which has interest within the Ghanaian peripheries. Ebe idea. Media nka me misusu ya no MP anase minister etim na shebedwem mo se mo no se onfa na dwumaku ye hye na simbra no mo beyi nsem ano a o de ombeba no mo beyi ano se esi anase yeye adwenkyire yi wie dia say na wo say yeye. To me that is my understanding of that paragraph. I say they need to be provided with documentation to show that they are relinquishing that aspect. I am taking it that it is the 50-50 you have done with me, but then I don't have that power. I don't have the documentation to show indeed you have relinquished to me. But if somebody comprehends it in another aspect and says that this is an indication that even the 50 that is left, let me have access to it, by which they are providing all these things. But indeed, if even I'm sharing 50-50 with you, and I don't have any documentations to show that I am part of the business, what means I am part? But we are all
but the question is that Cesadia and Shell said then the whole thing has been concluded between GNPC and Petrosa.
Yes, I per the writings of Petrosa, which is what they have brought out. It shows that there has been some discussions which have gone on. Ama yesi a Gina Pimbi. So we dey say na ye no. But we have the one or in charge of the sector. And we have the presidency a give final authority to such transactions. And the yewo parliament was supervisory role. I was so much say ampa motu anamo no kwan so. Nti we betumi si Gina ye no. Yetumi de bill ba, yetumi de laws bi ba. Obi tumi tam kra kokot. E ma yetwa ni nyinem. Do you get it? So in as much as it looks inconclusive, to me, the minister, the parliament, and the presidency, who have the powers to do within this and ensure that the right things are done, have the powers to review, revoke, or cancel all these agreements, no matter the level you have gotten to.
Okay.
Because if indeed, from the speech of Yera Fred Blaine, it means that it was not a unilateral decision. That is what he seeks to bring out. That it was not a natural decision. That is settled. If it was, or GNPC acted on behalf of the government, then indeed we can also say that government's quest to understand what GNPC has done and activities on my yeno. Ebe tumi abemu wobra yenya enchechiremu ye. Na Ghana so dem gidi se bebe etumi man enchechiremu pa ma ye domu asukopa no. You are ready to me, you are Rashid Pepu, a part of it. And the other gurus, they are to me, I should share and cry temu. Baby, it is not a doom situation. For me, that is what I see. If it is, the minister, for instance, there have been international transactions that when we come and it is reviewed and we see that the interest of it is not to the benefit of the country, like most of the PPA agreement that was signed, power purchase agreement that was signed. When we came and we saw that some of them were not inuring to the benefit of the country, they were revoked. We paid judgment debts, which were better off than maintaining the how do I call it? Say ubeto unto ubetua. Ubeto unto ubetua. Sa nkane ho nsensem wa bae. Nti ehade a gidi say ministry no abemu ministry no wo the technical know how de behwe no aban no nso ne stance a ode beba any empo parliament na mutu mbetu mbeye hwehwemu yie no eno na be ma asem na dedi ma yehum yie kan yehum yie fine ba minua Rashid so be ya adwene e wo kwan bi so say if the discussions have been done arbitrarily then there is the need for actions to be taken, just as the minister is trying to say that I am not aware, I have not agreed, the processes have not been well followed. Then we can now come back and say that yes, this one did this, which shouldn't have been done. This one have done that.
My doctor, Arobo.
Dog, next time don't come again. I have to go for me. A small of me back of when I'm venture and then I go to England. And the make say, and someone are concerning in an impono and see. Na jina yempo no mwesi a aban ni wotu mi se okire wo se de waye de dabi se wonko na wo fa adwene no ana GNPC any management no netu na mo na eno nso no ehade a wo se betumi ahwe na yama nsakraye wo se bem bia bem empo se bedu pempenso bi na financial commitment bi secretary bi e wo se ebia Petrosa so mo gi ye share se de ombe ye commitment mo metu esika bi embe mu a enya ade a ye betumi aka na ban no so betumi age na num se na me de me pese ye benya opepa no aban no opepa no se obebie na apono ama ya hwehwe mu de akosi minister no I show the way se me am ye in charge e wo that sector no enya ade a me hu ye e na parliament obi oti committee no so kire se emba ye ni ma ye hwemu ende ye ngwasa se free parliament ye fa minister ne so na se ye gituma aban no emfo so ni nsi.
Thank you. But
I want you to read the first 3 paragraphs of Blake's response in his own newspaper. It
says, Board Chairman of Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, Freddie Blake, has stated unequivocally that neither the corporation nor he intend to divest Ghana's 7% stake in Jubilee Oil Holdings Limited, Johel. According to him, Petrosa has also made no claim to acquire shareholding interest in Johel, and that allegations about a supposed sale of GNPC 7% shareholding are palpable false. Recently, Ghana's media landscape has been swarmed with baseless and vicious claims against Mr. Blake spread through statement ascribed to a purported group of 29 civil society groups.
Okay.
Really?
Look at that as against the letter you've just read. And let's come to terms.
So I'm just giving you a minute. I'll say the next subject.
No? Okay. So do you think that after all this, what he has said is true?
Nah. Say in the face of
what is available, in the face of what the CSOs have found out, can you take this word as a true situation?
Adding. So which people can settle it?
So we don't have to. We can't put lies on this thing.
Okay,
you see, if under the need of all these things, you still are telling people a different matter, it shows that you don't want to settle the matter.
Okay, all right.
Let's get to know the truth.
Okay.
And the truth is demonstrated by what the letter written by
Petrosa.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Petrosa for
actual letter. And I'm sure, sir, when you resume, somebody to me after GNPC.
Yes. In fact, we are going to meet sometime 9th of this month. Maybe it will come up in the meeting.
29th?
No, on the 9th of June.
Next month.
Next month.
Okay.
It might not be necessarily because of this, but because we are going to meet, I'm sure it will come up for discussions.
Okay. All right then. But no matter what it is, between actual contract, between actual because of international nature.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.